Good evening. At this time, would everyone please remain standing and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now for a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated. Graduates, if you so choose, you may remove your mask at this time and place it in the bag that is located under your chair. Good evening. My name is Phil Rogers, and it's my honor to welcome you tonight to the graduation ceremony for the South Gibson County High School class of 2020. I would like to extend a special welcome to the Director of Schools, Mr. Eddie Pruitt, both present and past school board members, our SGC faculty, staff, family, and friends. A very special welcome home is extended tonight for our South Gibson County High School alumni. And finally, please welcome all Gibson High School and Medina High School alumni who are present with us tonight. It is because of your support and vision that SGC became a reality in 2009. 4 short years ago, I welcomed our graduates to SGC as the freshman class. Tonight, you gather as a class together for one final time before you move on to your next beginnings, whatever those may be. You leave SGC with many successes to your credit. You also leave with some challenges that you've had to overcome. Hopefully, your next beginning will find you prepared to make smart choices and to continue to grow in your new and exciting surroundings. So welcome to your new beginnings and new opportunities that will hopefully allow you to continue to practice the qualities of being SGC, steadfast, gracious, and conscientious. At this time, would you please stand for the playing of our Alma Mater? You may be seated.
Good evening. My name is Mark Dunn, Assistant Principal of South Gibson County High School. Tonight, as we gather to honor and celebrate the many unique achievements of the 9th graduating class of South Gibson County, I ask that everyone in attendance, both students and family alike, to join me in a commitment to maintain the dignity and decorum of this momentous occasion. This ceremony has been planned to reflect the pride, appreciation, and respect for the accomplishments of each individual graduating senior. In an effort to make this night special, we ask that all of those in attendance please respect the following. At this time, we ask that you please silence all cell phones and electronic devices. Should it become necessary for you to speak on your phone, please politely excuse yourself from the ceremony in an effort not to disturb others. While this is a time of celebration, we ask that you refrain from any inappropriate outbursts or disturbances during the ceremony, especially as the names of graduates are read. This will allow spectators to be able to clearly hear their student's name announced. Likewise, students, we ask that you to continue to conduct yourselves in a manner that will reflect dignity and respect towards you, your classmates, and your family, as you are all here to be recognized and honored for your achievements. Realizing the desire of family and friends to take photographs and/or videos of their students during the ceremony, SGC has arranged for a professional photograph and video to be taken of the ceremony and each graduating senior as the diploma is being received. On Monday, May the 4th, order forms were provided for each student as a method of requesting and paying for this photograph and/or video. We ask that no one enter onto the field to take pictures or videos during the ceremony. Finally, we ask each one here tonight to embrace the splendor of tonight's celebration. As we have done so many times during our years at SGC, let's make this night one to remember. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce the 2020 South Gibson County High School Salutatorian, Mr. Mark Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. The first thing I want to say is thank you to all of our friends and family who came to support us tonight. Also, thank you to administration for giving us the opportunity to have this graduation. Now, since I found out that I was going to be salutatorian, I've had a lot of people offer suggestions about my speech. Things like, make sure it's as short as possible, or it better be the funniest speech I've ever heard, or even the most interesting thing is to write a manifesto. But I'm not funny, and I'm not a fan of Karl Marx, so the best I can do is keep it short. So, as we all know, our last year of high school has been pretty interesting. We thought it would be just like any other senior year, without a global pandemic that brings the entire country to a halt. But little did we know, by March it would be over. Our last year of high school, our best year of high school, ended before we even knew it. Halfway through our second semester, it just ended. We didn't get to do a senior prank, we didn't get to walk the halls one last time, and we didn't get to say goodbye to all of our amazing friends and teachers. But as I sat down to write this speech, I realized that it's okay that we didn't get to say goodbye. We've already made all the memories that matter. We sat in class and debated whether or not water is wet, which it isn't. We got to listen to Mr. Painter, aka K. Payne, rap about economics. All of our hard time and hard work here has not been wasted. We may have missed a few things at the end, but we still left our mark on SGC. The class of 2020 will be remembered through our actions, our words, and our attitude. George Washington said, "Happiness depends more upon the internal frame of a person's own mind than on the externals in the world." Our senior class of 2020 has always been an excellent example of this. Even when the world is facing a pandemic, we had to walk into graduation wearing masks and gloves. We did so smiling. We've always been able to stay positive in the worst of times. So after today, whether it's months, years, or even decades later, always remember that no matter what is happening around us in the world, we are the ones who make our own happiness. Whether you're going to college or trade school, joining the military, or even going straight into the workforce, class of 2020, always remember how to stay positive unless you're being tested for COVID-19.
At this time, I would like to introduce the 2020 South Gibson County High School valedictorian, Miss Madison Hupstetter.
Thank you, Mr. Dunn. Good evening. I want to begin by thanking each and every one of you for being here to mark this important milestone in our lives. For 9 years now, students, faculty, staff, friends, and families have sat in the very place we now find ourselves to celebrate the closing of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. Many of you sitting here have witnessed the evolution of the elementary school and the exponential growth of the middle school. You have been attending South Gibson County football games from the beginning, while others of us have joined you in the stands. Nonetheless, all of us here tonight have journeyed through 13 years of school to reach this very moment. But, if we're being honest, this isn't the moment that any of us envisioned. For years now, we have watched countless seniors move their orange, black, and blue tassel from one side to the other, and we ran onto the field to hug them and celebrate their accomplishments. We dreamed of the moment when that would be us, but the hard reality is that circumstances make this moment, our moment, quite different. Instead, we sit here masked and 6 feet apart. Many of our friends and families are watching on small screens, and we must maintain social distance because of a virus that continues to baffle those who study it. As hard as it is to acknowledge, the world as we know it will never be the same. Colleges are already discussing ways to give students a modified college experience. The economy is worse than it has been in years, and as unemployment rises, the job market will continue to get more competitive. Some of you might be sitting in your chair and thinking about how unfair this all is. Honestly, how could anyone not? However, the reality is simply that life will never be fair. We are not entitled to anything or any experience. This isn't SGC's production of Cinderella from our freshman year. There are no fairy godmothers, shining princes, or happily ever afters, although there might be a couple of broken carriages. Oppression still mars society. Hunger still kills millions of children. Poverty still creates an almost unbridgeable gap between socioeconomic classes. Depression still affects millions of people in the U.S. alone, and disease still runs rampant. With all the suffering and hardship in our world, it is easy to succumb to the desire to give up, to stop putting one foot in front of the other and leave change to someone stronger, someone braver, someone smarter. But if every one of us here tonight takes on this mindset, how can we expect anything to get better? As hard as it is, we need to be the people chasing the light at the end of the tunnel. If Eclipse Day 2017 taught our sophomore selves anything, besides the need for proper hydration, it is that light always follows periods of darkness. I challenge you not only to always seek that light after darkness, but also seek to be that light. Sure, there are some problems in this world that will never be resolved, but because some people chose to keep fighting, our situation has improved by leaps and bounds. As we learned in AP Human Geography, shout out to all my survivors, demographic transition is the phenomenon which refers to the historical shift from high birth and death rates to low birth and death rates as a country develops into a more technologically advanced society. The demographic transition model illustrates how improvement is possible, we just have to work for it. Think back on U.S. history, and if you had Coach Kate's all those daily power-ups, for the longest time women had no right to vote. But a century ago in 1920, because of the tireless work of women such as Elizabeth Cady Stanton, Susan B. Anthony, and Lucretia Mott, they were granted that right after Tennessee became the final state needed to ratify the amendment. Immigrants were living in atrocious conditions until Jacob Riis took a stand and brought attention to it in his book, How the Other Half Lives. Without the brave men and willing to fight for the Allied forces and the women in America who stepped in to fill jobs, creating the arsenal of democracy, it is likely that Hitler would have succeeded in his world domination. This perseverance is evident even here at school. Look at our girls' soccer team. After fighting to reach the next level, the girls and Coach Ellis have worked tirelessly and have 2 back-to-back state appearances to show for it. Or consider our football seniors, who led SGC's varsity football team in defeating Milan at home for the first time in program history. So, we can sit here and continue to feel sorry for ourselves, or we can grow as people and realize that life is about showing up, laboring persistently, and overcoming adversity. Life is hard. Life is messy. It doesn't care what we think we deserve. and it isn't going to get easier. You want to see things get better? Go out there. Be doctors, linemen, lawyers, cosmetologists, engineers, pharmacists, teachers, plumbers, psychologists, politicians, welders, writers, meteorologists, preachers, activists, soldiers, fill in the blank. As Gandhi once said, be the change you want to see in the world. If you wait for someone else to do it, you'll be waiting forever. Instead, I challenge you to remember this quote. If not us, who? If not now, when? Be the light that drives out the darkness. I want to leave you all with a verse that has come to mean a lot to me in recent months. In John 16:33, Jesus says to his disciples, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, for I have overcome the world. Notice here that he does not say you might have trouble, but instead clearly states that we will experience strife. We were never promised a perfect life on this earth. However, we can hold on to the fact that we are promised something much better. We have a Savior who conquered death himself, and in doing so promised us that if we believe in him and accept his sacrifice, we will one day enter into eternity forever. To me, as long as we can hold on to that promise, no adversity can hold us back from being light and making the best of what we have been given. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison and Mark. Great job. At this time, we would like to recognize Mrs. Kelly Duck, who was selected by her colleagues as our 2019-2020 Teacher of the Year. Ms. Duck has served as teacher at SGC since 2015. At this time, Ms. Duck will come and present the academic accolades.
As we have heard throughout the course of our ceremony tonight, the class of 2020 is a special group of graduates. They have set high standards for future classes in the areas of academic achievement and service to our community. And while these students have received many accolades and awards, tonight it is my honor to recognize 6 groups of seniors who have demonstrated academic excellence and contributed many hours of valuable community service. The prestigious Hornet Scholar distinction is attained by reaching a combined 1,700 points out of a possible 2,000 that is obtained with a formula that weighs the ACT composite score and the GPA calculation equally. Students, as I call your name, please stand and remain standing so that we may recognize the significant accomplishment. Please hold your applause until all names have been called. Our Hornet Scholar graduates are Drake Adams, Hayden Barnett, Jackson Bell, Hannah Brasher, Matthew Bryant, Chastity Christie, Ariana Claros, Zoe Crockett, Remington Cross, John Dalton Drake, Abigail Feller, Ashley Feller, Zachary Feller, Mason Gamble, Andrew Good, Allie Goodman, Hannah Hansbrough, Addison Harwell, Drew Henson, Ben Horner, Callie Horner, Madison Huffstutter, Mark Jackson, Kay Johns, Brooks Johnston, Ashley Kemper, Mary Kimmery, Alex Kirkendall, Cameron Lucky, Nikki McFarland, Madeline McMillan, Charlie Ostrander, Lakin Pascal, Cameron Patrick, Langston Patrick, Claire Piercy, Trey Shimmer, Morgan Seach, Wade Snyder, Emma Stewart, Nolan Stenham, Emma Stilwell, Elizabeth Turner, Garrett Wallace, Elizabeth Wiles, and Christian Wright. Please join me in congratulating these students for their outstanding academic achievement. Next, we will be recognizing those students that are graduating with state honors. In order to graduate with state honors, students must score at or above all 4 of the subject area readiness benchmarks on the ACT. The ACT benchmark scores are as follows: English 18, Math 22, Science 23, Reading 22. Students graduating with state honors, please stand and be recognized at this time. Please join me in congratulating these students for meeting all 4 ACT benchmarks. At this time, we will recognize those students that are graduating with state distinction. In order to graduate with state distinction, students must earn a B average of 85 or higher and complete or attain at least one of the following: earn a national and or state recognized industry certification, participate in at least one of the governor's schools, participate in one of the state's all-state musical organizations, earn statewide recognition or an award at a skill or knowledge-based state tournament, convention, or competition hosted by a statewide student organization, and or qualify for national recognition by a national student organization. Be selected as a national merit finalist or semifinalist. Attain a score of 31 or higher composite score on the ACT. Attain a score of 3 or higher on at least 2 advanced placement exams. Earn 12 or more semester hours of transcripted post-secondary credit. Students, please stand and be recognized at this time. Our next recognition is for the Tennessee Tri-Star Scholar. The Tennessee Tri-Star Scholar is a student who earns a composite score of 19 or higher on the ACT and earns a capstone industry certification as promoted by the Department of Education. Students, please stand and be recognized at this time. The next academic accolade is the Work Ethic Certificate. The criteria for earning a Work Ethic Certificate was developed through a partnership between school districts and industries in Northwest Tennessee. Students receiving this certificate have shown they possess certain skills which have been prioritized by local industries as necessary for employment. The names of students who have met the criteria needed to receive the Work Ethic Certificate will be shared with partnering industries as qualified candidates for possible employment. Students, please stand and be recognized at this time. Finally, the Tennessee Scholars Program was created by the Tennessee Chamber of Commerce to help encourage and motivate high school students to prepare for the ever-changing workforce and become more involved in their community by completing 10 hours of community service per semester for a total of 80 hours of community service. Additionally, students must earn 2 credits in specified courses, maintain a C average or higher. Students must be in attendance 95% over the 4 years of high school, and the student must not have any out-of-school suspensions. Students, thank you for your commitment and valuable service to our community. Please stand and be recognized at this time.
Mr. Rogers, I proudly present to you the class of 2020. These students have met the requirements as set forth by the state of Tennessee for completion of their high school instruction, as such, I now request we confer them their high school diplomas. Madison Brooke Hufstetter. Mark David Jackson. Drake Austin Adams. William Hayden Barnett. Charles Jackson Bell. Hannah Teresa Brasher. Matthew Barr Bryant. Chastity Grace Christie. Ariana Mary Claros. Zoe Olivia Crockett. Remington Luke Cross. John Dalton Drake. Abigail Grace Feller. Ashley Faith Feller. Zachary Allen Feller. Mason Joel Gamble. James Andrew Good. Alyssa Danielle Goodman. Hannah Lynn Hensbrough. Addison McKinley Harwell. Drew Thomas Henson. Benjamin Clay Horner. Callie Brooke Horner. Cade Gregory Johns. Brooks Delaney Johnston. Ashley Grace Kemper. Mary Catherine Kimmery. Alexandria Sky Kirkendall. Cameron Page Lucky. Virginia Nicole McFarland. Madeline Grace McMillan. Charles William Ostrander. Lakin Elizabeth Pascal. Cameron Ray Patrick. Langston Carol Patrick. Claire Michelle Piercy. Michael Philip Shimmer III. Morgan Marie Seach. Jason Wade Snyder. Emma Grace Stewart. Nolan Scott Stidham. Emma Catherine Stillwell. Elizabeth Ann Turner. Garrett Patrick Wallace. Elizabeth Aubrey Wiles. Christian Riley Wright. Jasmine Marie Anderson. Peyton Danielle Austin. Hunter Jace Ballard. Simon William Barnhart. Reese Shea Baum. James Michael Bell. Ramsey Grace Bell. Jordan Elizabeth Betts. Hillary Elizabeth Blackburn. Valerie Megan Blankenship. Nicholas Randolph Briscoe. Lacey Amber Butler. Briley Lane Carneal. Destiny Blair Carrington. Caitlin Ann Carter. Raina Suzanne Carter. Kylie Dalen Chandler. Langdon Heisler Cloyd. Jake Michael Coleman. Kennedy Brooke Collins. Destiny Simon Craddock. Brady Harrison Crocker. Abby Nicole Dabbs. Dylan Davis. Caitlin Myra DeHaan. Riley Morgan DeLassis. William Peyton Deloach. Matthew Justin Delory. Christian Carter Denton. Jacob Landon Dinkins. Landon Seth Dodson. Jordan Thomas Dover. Daniel Wade Duggan. Brandon Lee Duncan. James Harrison Dyer. Kendall Faith Eddings. Joshua James Englert Jr. Hannah Marie Epperson. Omega Sky Epperson. James Wilson Estes. Jagger Reese Evans. Harley Grace Faust. Jeffrey Allen Frazier. Andrew Charles French. Jacob Thomas Fuller. Andrea Nicole Galvin.
Hannah Claire Gall. Kelton Riley Gall. Reese Evan Gibson. Jeremiah Ismail Gonzalez. Dylan Edward Goodwin. Lily Claire Gordon. Josie Dylan Gordon. Courtney Danielle Gottschalk. Addison Rachel Graves. Taisha Chardonnay Green. Caleb Andrew Grimes. Alexandria Kaya Gwynn. Brandon Jovan Gunn. Thomas Glenn Guy. Dane Carter Hardwick. Nicholas Blake Harris. Mia Shamiria Haynes. Ethan Miles Henry. Riley Connor Hoover. Hallie Brooke Horn. Ethan Anderson Horner. Hannah Nicole Isbell. Connor Thomas Jenkins. Parker Dylan Johnson. Rasan Johnson. Haven Lynn Jorgensen. Anna Yvonne Junkin. Jacob Seth Kale. Connor Duffy Kelso. Gage Edward King. Taylor Mackenzie Kirkwood. Ashley Marie Costin. Dawson Blake Langley. Peyton Cole Leach. Angela Marie Leon. Gracelyn Elise Lewis. Michael Tyler Longmire. Ethan Lane Laux. Matthew William Lyons. Wiley Bryant Maupin. Lily Ann McAllister. Cole Brendan McCollum. Jake Dawson McGee. Ben Thomas McLemore. Connor Reese Miller. Claire Elizabeth Moore. Stephen Lynn Morris. Madison June Needham. Julianne May Nunnery. Noah Kyle Oliver. Luis Gennaro Ortiz. Carrie Ann Parrish. Dax Arvin Patel. Chloe Marie Pedro. Kaylee Jane Privet. Abigail Jules Richardson. William Gage Riddle. Kayla Jade Riddle. Carson Bradley Rogers. Kaylee J. Rowlett. Jonathan Walker Shearer. Chloe Lane Sykes. Delfino Daniel Silva, sorry. Brooklyn Grace Smith. Raylan Nicole Steps. Keyshawn Latrell Stewart. Kaylin Grace Talley. Aubrey Faith Taylor. Holden Ryan Terry. Paxton McKelvey Terry. Evan Charles Thompson. Anna Marie Thompson. Keely Camille Timberlake. Jonathan Robert Turner. Jonathan Macarios Vaughn. Colton Thomas Ward. Julie Addison Warmoth. Matthew Paul Weaver. Dylan Lee White. Gracie Elizabeth White. Jaden Latrell Wiggins. Desiree Lynn Williams. Morgan Mackenzie Williams. Thomas Cody Wolf. Lauren Betts Wright. Savannah Doreen Yeomans.
At this time, I would like to recognize all members of the South Gibson County High School staff. I'd like for you to stand at this time, please. I would like to say thank you for your commitment to excellence, your passion and your knowledge for teaching, your love for our students, and the caring, nurturing spirit that you bring to SGC each day. May each of you continue to be blessed for what you do for South Gibson County High School. Students, parents, and guests, please join me in applauding this remarkable group of individuals. $2,340 days. This time last year, I asked the class of 2019 if they had had enough. Enough homework, dress codes, tardies, projects, exams. Enough of being steadfast, gracious, conscientious. They clearly had had enough. And then I asked them, had they done enough? Did they study enough, participate in class enough, been kind enough? And then we had a little talk about what the term enough meant, and I asked each senior, when is enough really enough? As we come to the official end of your high school experience, I wanted to leave you with a letter from me. I want you to think about your definition of having and doing enough as a high school student, and think about how unique your experiences can catapult you into a magnificent, we're coming off with a mask, excuse me, magnificent future. One better than it could have ever been because you have experienced a global crisis at a pivotal point in your young life. Here's your letter. Dear seniors, the day has come. You've made it through 13 years of learning. That's 2,340 days of school. You've made it, and we see you, and we see and feel the tremendous impact that you've had on our school during your time at SGC. I hope you don't diminish your years of accomplishments because of 32 days of learning in a different environment, and I hope you don't dwell on so much on the things that you didn't get to experience to the extent that it minimizes all the many, many things you have experienced 32 days out of 2,340. I pray that you can use your time spent with the coronavirus over the last 32 days as a gift to make our world a better place and to help mankind become the population that we were intended to be. I see this crisis as a series of lessons that impacted each and every one of us in our own unique way. I want to take tonight to acknowledge to you and for our guests some specific losses that you as a senior class have suffered. I have heard far more about the things that were lost over the things that were achieved. So I want you to consider how you can grow deeply as a person because of those losses. You missed your senior prom and your senior walk. The theme was chosen, reservations were made, ticket sales were ongoing, dresses were bought, and dates were secured. And just like that, there would be no prom 2020. What would you have done differently at your junior prom if you had known it would be your last? Would you have stayed a little longer or danced a little more? Would you have been in such a hurry to leave, or would you have enjoyed the food and visited with more friends? Did you even go to the prom as a junior? When you had the opportunity, did you take it? Or did you decide to wait till next year? Theater students, your spring production was canceled. You had put in hours and hours of hard work into your practices. What lesson did coronavirus give to you? How much did you learn from your first practice until your last time that you were together? Think about how much you grew from the practices. How can you use that growth long after production run, or lack thereof, has ended? Did you lose all you learned from the hours you gave only because you weren't able to perform in front of an audience? If you knew from day one that you would not perform in front of family, friends, and community members, would you have walked away from your fellow theater members and your teacher? Does validation of your talents and hard work require a full crowd, or do you feel pride within yourself? Use your pride to build your confidence for future auditions. Exciting trips were canceled, state conferences were canceled, money was lost, and plans were scrapped. Disappointing was an understatement, but what a powerful way to exhibit how to gracefully handle disappointment. The coronavirus is bigger and stronger and louder than any of our travel plans. It told us no, and there was nothing we could do to change it. How many people gracefully accept no to their wishes? Acceptance is peace, and now you can teach others that no's are told for a reason, maybe a reason you don't like or agree with. But now you know it's okay that plans are sometimes changed and that they're out of your control, and it's okay to be disappointed. So start making plans for where you're going in your future, and don't dwell another day on where you're not going now or didn't get to go this spring. Athletes, your sports events and seasons were canceled. When you played your last game, how did you do? Did you play your best game ever? Did you work collectively as a team? Did you listen to your coaches? Did you exhibit good sportsmanship? If you had known it would be your last game, match, or meet, what would you have done differently? Did you pay attention to the sounds, smells, the lights, the cheers? Did you soak it all in? Did you dismiss it? Or did you even notice those things at all? Did you encourage your teammates? Were you graceful in either your victory or defeat? Were you thankful for the physical and mental abilities that have allowed you to participate in your chosen sport? And then tonight, your graduation ceremony. This ceremony is an outward celebration of a major milestone in your educational journey. And we're very thankful that we were able to safely conduct this ceremony so you can be celebrated in front of your friends and family. But please understand, your diploma does not require a graduation ceremony. Your college applications do not require a graduation ceremony. This graduation ceremony is not your validation of your years spent as a dedicated student. It's nice and it's public recognition, but in your quiet moment when you hold your diploma in your hands, that's when you should feel your proudest. Your greatest celebration that is beyond any ceremony should be within yourself. Pride in your accomplishments is long-term. Ceremonies leave you with photos and a few memories, but your intrinsic sense of pride in accomplishing this milestone is what makes you strong. It gives you confidence to push forward and to try new things. Confidence in yourself that can get you from your sense of pride, calms your fears of change, and gives you the strength and grace to handle disappointments and to sometimes hear the word no. So here we are, missing out on the last 32 days of 2,340 days of learning and living the life of a student. Hundreds of lessons learned, and now the culmination of your journey will stop short. I know that you may feel like you left your time here unfinished, but oh, what a lasting impression you will have on South Gibson County High School. You have been given a gift, and you are a gift like no other class before. You've been given the greatest lesson in life, and that is to value every single second, always give 100%, always be the best person you can be kind, and most of all, appreciate every moment that you're given. Every band competition, every ball game, every theater production, every CTE competition, every art show, every convention, every test, every project, every bus ride, every homework assignment, every meal, every visit with family and friends. Life gives us no guarantee of unlimited opportunities. So be grateful, be present, and be your best. And know that sometimes things don't work out like you plan, but also know that acceptance is the magic solution that will allow you to refocus and reevaluate. It's funny how the words I used with last year's seniors are still so very relevant to the class of 2020 seniors. And 2019 didn't have a global pandemic. I didn't read the entire work of Marissa Donnelly, but instead I shared pieces of what she writes in her poem, I Wish You Enough. The pieces that I shared with the class of 2019 align closely with our values of steadfast, gracious, and conscientious. I think I want to include the wishes that I shared last year in my letter to you. They are more than worth repeating. I actually think they should be shared with every senior, including our past seniors, our current seniors, and our seniors to come. However, for your class specifically, as you reflect on the last 32 days and the experiences you've had that are so very different from any other graduating class that has come before you, I want you to be keenly aware that none of the wishes I share with you can be experienced in a classroom alone. They are wishes for experiences that you learn from living your life. By the nature of our global pandemic, we are possibly better prepared for a future filled with the successes than ever before. Think about it, some steadfast wishes. I wish you enough weakness so that you know the great measure of your strength. I wish you enough loneliness so that you become independent and start loving yourself. I wish you enough trials so that you learn who you are and who you will become. Gracious wishes. I wish you enough confidence so that you are capable but not conceited. I wish you enough laughter so that you learn to slow down and appreciate the people and things around you. I wish you enough disappointment so that you never lose sight of all that you have. And finally, conscientious wishes. I wish you enough success so that you're proud of the skin that you stand in. I wish you enough gain so that you're both humble and thankful. I wish you enough stability so that you trust the world around you and the people in it, but enough change so that you're always growing. I do not wish you flawlessness or perfection. I wish you a life worth living, a life with ups and downs, trials and triumphs, growths and beginning, and endings and lessons and love. I wish you enough, just enough. Best wishes, Mr. Rogers. At this time, I would like for the class of 2020 to stand. I am proud to say that I'm part of South Gibson County High School, and I hope you've also felt the pride of being a Hornet. At this time, as you officially move from candidates to graduates, I respectfully ask one final task of each of you. Members of the South Gibson County class of 2020, please turn your tassel. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you South Gibson County High School's class of 2020. Audience, if you would, please stand. Graduates, if you would, please make sure you get your items from under your chair. We appreciate your attendance tonight in support of our seniors. As we conclude our ceremony, we want to keep our graduates, family, and friends as safe as possible. At this time, we will have our recessional, and we ask that you remain in your designated area until the seniors have left the football field. To help maintain safety of all of our guests, we will be dismissing by sections. We ask that you keep social distancing guidelines in mind as you exit the stadium. of all our guests, we thank you again for being with us this evening for this graduation ceremony. Again, we ask that you practice social distancing guidelines. If you would, please monitor your spacing as you exit the bleachers and move to the parking lot. Again, thank you for your presence this evening. SGCHS faculty and staff, we will need your assistance in moving all of the chairs back into the field house and also in getting the plants and other items off of the field this evening prior to us leaving. Thank you.